We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. The station that sounds like the city looks.
First things first.
Things first, it's the DU General, Money B. I'ma put you up on the schedule, 6 to 9, 8 weekdays, not 2 and 7. Let's go. We got a lot to talk about, so much to pedal through. Unapologetically progressive. Tune to KBLA 1580 to get the mess. We're your ancestors' favorite radio station. First black on talk radio, left side of the nation. Me and Dominique the Prima go way back. Tag Smiley making sure the station stays black. Discussing all the issues in our community. We're hosted black and brown and others find unity. So let's talk about it. Maybe we can improve it. Digital underground, always down with the movement. So we tune in. The first things first with the queen of Black Talk Radio, Dominique the Prima. Go sis.
First things first.
KBLA Talk 1580. Good morning and God bless. I'm Dominique DePrima. This show is First Things First, and my first thing every day, giving thanks, giving praises, asking for blessings from God Almighty, asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders, and let's go. You know what we do around here. I'm pretty sure you can tell right now that I am back in Leimert Park, Africatown, USA. Hour one, we typically go local. Talk about the left coast, your neighborhood, your block, all that, the micro to the micro. Hour two, we go national, international, and beyond. And in the third hour of the show, we do a deep dive with a person or on a topic or all of the above. And man, we do have a lot to talk about today. I am so grateful for everyone who traveled with me to the motherland, literally those who got on the plane, and virtually those who traveled via social media and this radio station's much appreciated. All the feedback, the DMs, the posts, the things on the timeline. Yeah, even text. And it's great to be back. I had an amazing trip. Of course, you heard about it on the road, and we'll have a few more things to say about that. If you want to ask a question or, clarify something or give an opinion, I know it's been a minute since you talked to me. Been gone a couple weeks. 800-920-1580. You're invited in every minute of every hour on my show. 800-920-1580. That's how we do it. A lot of things. Man, I can't leave y'all alone for 1 second. I come back and it's like terrible things have happened in America. A few good things too. So we'll reflect on those. There is some kind of, I don't know, I don't want to call it comfort, but maybe perspective in going to the motherland and watching all of this stuff happen here in the United States from abroad, right? And remembering that this country is not the whole wide world. I think the United States and, happy birthday, America, again, blah, blah, blah. Yesterday was July 4th. I call it Frederick Douglass had a point day. But also, I love my country. I consider myself a patriot. A progressive patriot. I love my country, but that's why I stick around to fix it. Douglas also said that, by the way, that a true patriot is someone that, takes on what needs to be improved, uplifted, or criticized about their nation and plays a role in making that happen. So, yes, I consider myself a patriot. That said, there was something really comforting about being in the motherland while all hell is breaking loose over here. And how I was able to remind myself, it's like your eyeballs take in the colors, the landscape, the vibration of Africa, the people, everything. It calls to something ancient in your DNA. And then your ears take in the sounds of the people. And your mind takes in, even though, you don't understand a lot of the language when folks are speaking in their ethnic dialects and whatnot, But there's something about the vibration of collectivism, of, I don't want to say making a way out of no way. It's just making a way. It's just doing things a different way. That is so, I think, helpful, because this hyper-consumer, predatory capitalist, Western-centric world that we live in, it does impact us. And, like I said, I'm a patriot. I love my country. I don't plan to move away from it. I'm on team stay and fight. But when all things go wild, it is nice to know, well, I could just go to Zimbabwe. I'd be welcomed there with open arms. I could just go. I could take a break and spend some time in Senegal or Ghana or any of the other 54 nations that I hope to visit. So, yeah, we do have a lot to talk about. 800-920-1580. I think you know that by now. Please hit me up on all the socials. It's KBLA 1580. I got so much more stuff to post. When I'm doing a radio show and the Wi-Fi is kind of intermittent, to say the least. I mean, look, it's good in the hotel, but when you're on safari or when you're, in a village in the middle of somewhere, the Wi-Fi is pretty much non-existent. So it was a little more tough to post, but I did my best to try to stay on top of it. And Miles, I want to say thank you. You did such an amazing, amazing job. That's the part you couldn't see. Miles from behind the scenes all the way in California, just, editing, pushing buttons, MacGyvering things so that we could stay on the air by hook or by crook. And we managed to get something on the air every single day, which, I thank you for that, Miles. You did an amazing job. However, you've been warned. 2024, you have to come with.
I'm coming. My bag's packed already.
Okay, that's good stuff. Let's go to Fahima calling from Washington, D.C. Good morning.
Well, I normally greet you in a different way. I'm going to greet you with bienvenido and aquaba. Welcome back, Dominique.
Thank you.
Listening to your journey made me want to revisit South Africa, as I vowed never to go return to South Africa again. I was there for the UN Conference Against Racism, and there were a lot of things that I didn't like. But again, I was there for a conference. And but listening to your journey made me consider, particularly that restaurant you guys went to. Some of the food really was very tempting. It would be worth returning just for some of the food.
Yeah, you know what, Fahima, I can understand. I mean, I know that there was some disastrous things that happened in that conference, but also the horror of apartheid is very much present in South Africa. They clearly, as a nation, have not overcome that, just as we haven't overcome our enslavement or Jim Crow. And you can feel it. I mean, we definitely experienced racism. We experienced hate from white people there. No question about it. You show up 43 deep into a restaurant that serves black people and white people, and then all of a sudden the white people are outnumbered. Or we'd show up somewhere where maybe, there were no other black folks other than people working there, even a black-owned spot. And all of a sudden, you're getting all kinds of crazy looks. And you can tell that it's, I mean, we didn't experience that in Ghana or Senegal or Ethiopia or, Tanzania. So that's a thing. But there's so much good there. And so I felt like so much beauty. We utilize black-owned businesses as much as possible. And the people are so kind, and there's so much history and knowledge to be gained. And plus, like you said, the food. Oh, my goodness. Got to do some working out, Fahima.
Well, one of the things that took me back was this Africana woman walked up to me and touched my lanyard. Had my name on it and said, and who are you supposed to be? And, here in the States, people in the States, they let you have your personal space. That was one of the things that really took me aback. And also another encounter at a store where there was obviously a black South African, they told the black South African to wait, and they were going to wait on me because I was American. I said, no, she was here first. And so I then walked out. And then, it was just stuff like that. One other incident, I was dressed in African clothes, and a policeman said, hey, you. And I said, yes. He said, oh, I'm so sorry. I thought you were South African. And I said, and if I was? So I wasn't my
good answer for
my it wasn't pleasant. It wasn't pleasant. But lastly, I wanted to say I had to broadcast by using the telephone. I didn't have a Miles like you did. I had to use the telephone in the office of the hotel, and they allowed me to make telephone calls back, and I were able to have people like the late Jane Cortez, who was with our delegation.
Oh, wow.
And I was reporting on the World Conference Against Racism. Mark Thompson, who you've had on as a show.
Yes, got to get him back.
Yeah, he was facilitating the discussion. And it was an interesting thing, but you made me want to consider revisiting.
Oh, that's good. You know what? Everything you said, I agree with, and yet I think in a way I wish more of us would go because of that. I wish that we, Black America, we have the money, would go and buy up all those beach houses right there in Cape Town that are right, on the water, which has been restricted only to white folks and mostly remains that way. These are houses that go for between 4 and 20 million American, which is really out of reach for mostly anyone Black in South Africa. But we could do it. I wish we would have more of a presence, and I think that we will. And also I should give thanks to John, our engineer, and Tavis, because Tavis Smiley went ahead and invested in that Comrex and made sure that we had the equipment, which you did not have. So we didn't have to go by telephone. We had a plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D. I think telephone was plan E or F, right, Miles? But of course, Miles had to execute it on a day-to-day basis, and we were making adjustments on the ground. Always good to hear from you, Fahima. And, certainly as a veteran journalist, you understand the challenges. It's not like you just plug in and pull up a mic when you go to another country, particularly, in Africa. So, let's go. Maybe you come with us in 2024.
Who knows?
Except we won't be going to South Africa. We'll be going somewhere else. In any case, Fahima, call me at 800-920-1580. Wish you would too. I'm Dominique DePrima. Let's look and see what's going on around here in Leimert Park, in Los Angeles, in Cali, when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
JP Morgan Chase is building on the investments in California and around the country to help close the racial wealth gap and build a more equitable future. As part of JP Morgan Chase commitment, they are taking action to help improve financial wealth and access to banking in the Black community, helping more people open low-cost checking and savings accounts, hosting community seminars with supporting Black-led institutions by building awareness about financial investments, hiring community managers, and opening community center branches like Crenshaw, Inglewood, and downtown LA. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Get the tools to help reach your financial goals. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity.
Don't miss July 4th savings now at Lowe's. Freshen up your home with buy one, get one 50% off on select interior and exterior paints and exterior stains via Lowe's gift card rebate. And get gardening with savings on Stay Green soil. Right now, buy 3 bags for just $10. Lowe's knows July 4th savings. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 7/5. Soil offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii, and selection varies by location. While supplies last, more terms and restrictions apply. See Lowe's.com/rebates for details.
She's so smooth, I'm interrupting my own shower to remind you to treat your skin like the queen she is with Olay Hyaluronic Body Wash. Packed with Olay's highest level of vitamin B3 complex. It's so moisturizing that it will give you visibly smoother, head-turning skin in just 14 days. People wondering, how'd she get so smooth? Olay Hyaluronic Body Wash. Also, try Olay Hyaluronic Body Lotion.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Are you interested in catching up on all the latest entertainment news, trending topics, and exciting interviews? I got you. Tune in to The Raw Report with Robin Ayers, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. I'm your host, Robin Ayers. Join me every weekday with some of the best entertainment contributors in the business as we break down what's going on, who's got next, and what not to miss. Only on The Raw Report with Robin Ayers.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Are you looking to steer your career in a new direction? Driving for Culver City Bus can be your ticket to a long-lasting career with excellent benefits and paid training. Culver City Bus is looking for customer service and safety-minded bus operators to join the growing team. Culver City Bus offers on-the-job training starting at $19.10 per hour, uniform allowance, and health benefits. Culver City Bus is a great employer. Let Culver City Bus connect you with an essential service job. If you enjoy driving, seek real opportunities for career advancement, and passionate about making a difference in the community, then you are invited to join the Culver City Bus team. Start your journey today by submitting an application at culvercity.org/job. For more info, visit culvercitybus.com or call live customer service operators at 310-253-6500.
Mom's early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take.
And when I left the oven on, we decided together that it was time to see a doctor and make a plan.
Early detection gave us more time to seek out information and support as a family.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. For more information, visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DePrima right now.
Right now, so glad you're back with me, and I encourage you to call me, of course, 800-920-1580. Act like you missed me. 800-920-1580. Yeah, so man, oh man. I feel like one of the things, and I try to always start with what's good, and that I think that's why I started with the trip, other than the fact that I pretty much just landed. But judges, the importance of judges, voting for judges, tracking judges, is something Attorney Carrie Harper has long reminded me about, and which she has helped us to get judicial candidates here on the show and other shows I've done. And why am I saying that? Well, I mean, first of all, let's start with Mark Ridley Thomas, Dr. Mark Ridley Thomas. The fact that his quest for a new trial was denied on behalf of Judge Dale S. Fisher. Now, people have called this show saying, that Judge Fisher has things in her past, and I haven't been able to find any of that. But I don't have LexisNexis. I'm just going off Google fingers and, whatever I can go off of. But the judge rejected the arguments. This is, from the Sentinel, but not just the Sentinel. I mean, it was reported in, the LA Times and wherever I could find it. I'm reading about it on the way home and feeling so angry and sad at the same time. Basically the judge upheld the conviction. And Judge Fisher said that the charges would stand. According to her, there was substantial evidence of corrupt intent. I don't know, how you prove intent unless you have a not too bright defendant like the 45th president who types emails and tapes conversations of their intent. So evidence of corrupt intent. They said, the judge said the jury could find that he knew he was acting corruptly and dishonestly about that $100,000 donation in return for assistance. Well, and the judge said that, clearly Ridley Thomas voted in favor of USC, which again, to me, that is not a crime. A. B. That is to be expected. Not only is it in his district, right? Not only is USC qualified to do that work, and probably most qualified, if not among the most. And also, it's his alma mater, so there's nothing weird about him voting to steer social work contracts towards USC, something that every other supervisor on the board also voted yes on. So I guess I need to talk to an attorney about this, and we are going to be doing just that in the days ahead. I've got to have every attorney I know on this show, because there's so many crazy legal things happening in this country. The defense called it a miscarriage of justice. You've heard Tavis Smiley speaking at length, an eloquent defense of Dr. Ridley Thomas, as has attorney Areva Martin, in saying that the jury was swayed by all of these charges, and perhaps it was the feeling that they had to convict on something. But the judge says there was sufficient evidence, and there was evidence that he breached his fiduciary duty. I believe there's one more possibility for an appeal here. This is what I understand. Like I said, I need the attorneys for that. But we've got sentencing coming up in August, and I think those of us who understand the depth of the service that Dr. Mark Ridley Thomas has given, not just to Black LA, not just to Latino LA or Asian LA, but to all of LA, should be doing everything we can to weigh in on this sentencing, and including prayer. It's just baffling to me. Sentencing coming up in August. We don't know what's going to happen there, but certainly I think this is a place where community input could and should make a difference. We're going to go to Regina calling us from Long Beach. Good morning, Regina.
Oh, well, Miss DePrima.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
3 questions. The first one being, unless somehow I missed it, I didn't understand why you didn't play live the sound of the waterfall. And the second question is, everybody kept saying the food was great, but what kind of desserts did they have other than fruit? Did they have any made with dough?
Yes, girl.
And
this dough is right here on my stomach.
Okay. And the third question, and then I'll listen over the radio. The third question is, I want to hear, I know you said there was a mall, but the shopping, what more information about what they had, maybe comparing to some of the stores here about the shopping.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
All right, Regina. Those are fun questions, really fun questions. First of all, when I was broadcasting from the waterfall, we were not live. We were broadcasting from there, but it was so remote. I mean, there's definitely no Wi-Fi there. But you're right. I should have played that. But you know what? It's not too late. I have the sound of the waterfall in my brain on my phone. The waterfall calls me back. That is one reason why I know for sure I will be going back. I have to put the visuals up too. That's Mosi Oatunya, also known as Victoria Falls, but Queen Victoria was the name that the colonizer gave to the waterfall when he discovered it, even though there was people already living there. It's the old Christopher Columbus style discovery, meaning it was already here, but I'm going to say I discovered it because I can. And because now Europe and white folks know about it. So, of course, that means I discovered it. That said, Mosi Oatunya is what I'm trying to teach myself to call it, or the Great Waterfall. Mosi-oa-Tunya is really 6 waterfalls all together in a row, like one. So big you would probably have to fly over it, which I probably will do next time in a helicopter. Think 10-lane freeway. I mean, it's huge. It's giant. And you just can't take a picture. Like if you saw my pictures of that, that's not the whole waterfall. That's the one part that my little iPhone could capture. Desserts. In South Africa, they have this stuff called malva pudding. It's like a cake, kind of a fluffy cake with custard over it, or else it comes with ice cream. And it's one of those dishes where everyone makes it, it's like peach cobbler. Everyone makes it their own way. So it was different in every restaurant. And yes, I am now an expert on malva pudding. It was so yummy. They also have all the, usual things you'd expect from the West, or from, they've got cheesecake and chocolate and every kind of dessert. As one of our trailblazers, Jamie, said, Africans love a buffet, and they always had a lot of different desserts to choose from. But the one that we really all kind of fell in love with was the South African malva pudding, which I'd never had tried before, never had even heard of, but they had it at almost every restaurant that we went to, and it was slightly different at each, and so delicious. Not too late to call me, 800-920-1580. It's KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
Good morning, I'm Ray Harris, and here's the latest from the Baaaaack Information Network. It's the post-4th of July scramble as travelers are still dealing with issues at airports. Flight issues are not going away as Americans begin to head home following the long 4th of July weekend. FlightAware reports there were more than 4,000 delays within, into, and out of the United States on Tuesday. Meanwhile, more than 450 flights were canceled across the country. More cancellations and delays are expected today. Beachgoers from New York to Florida are keeping their eyes on the water following shark attacks.
We heard a whistle blow around about 6 o'clock, screaming everyone to get out.
There are also shark sightings in Florida. And that's the latest. I'm Ray Harris on your home for 24/7 News, the Baaack Information Network, and BINnews.com.
Need an accident attorney by your side? All you got to do is call the accident guys.
Injured in a car accident or at work? Call the accident guys to speak with a real expert attorney for a free consultation.
Is this the time? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
It was not a happy 4th of July for the Dodgers. Their bullpen gave up 3 runs to Pittsburgh in the 9th inning. The Dodgers end up losing by 2. Pittsburgh and the Dodgers battle again tonight at Dodger Stadium. First pitch at 7:10. The NBA will test its new flopping rule at the Summer League in Las Vegas. The 10-day action for rookies and free agents begins Friday. Players will be on notice to think twice before flopping in an attempt to draw a foul. If a player tries it, the new rule gives the opposing team a free throw attempt and possession of the ball. The player also will get hit with a technical foul. The Lakers and Clippers will have their rookies and free agents in Vegas. Neither team is scheduled to play the San Antonio Spurs and their number 1 pick, Victor Wembanyama. Wembanyama will be with the Spurs in Vegas. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is dedicated to empowering our communities by providing progressive talk radio for our audience. We strive to be an intersectional voice for the voiceless. As a Black-owned and operated station, we are committed to highlighting diverse perspectives and creating safe spaces for meaningful dialogue. We believe that everyone has something unique to bring to these political, economic, social, and cultural conversations, and we don't shy away from the hard conversations about current events. We endeavor to be a beacon of hope and understanding, while boldly challenging listeners to think more deeply about difficult topics that impact us all. With this in mind, our mission statement at KBLA Talk 1580 is simple: to create an inclusive platform that promotes civil discourse through honest dialogue and encourages personal growth among our listeners, so they can become the active agents of change. Our vision is to establish ourselves as the premier radio network with relevant programming across the beloved community. connecting people through shared experiences and collective power for lasting impact beyond these challenging times.
You're ready to level up to your next home or your first home. But maybe you still have some questions. Come check out Rocket. We're ready to help. Start with a Rocket Mortgage home buying plan and get Rocket rewards along the way for cash toward closing. You got this, and Rocket's got you. Only with Rocket. Visit rocketbuyingplan.com to get started today.
Call 866-357-5727 for conditions and restrictions. Equal housing lender license in all 50 states. NMLS Consumer Access. Number 3030.
Have you heard about Lendistry? Lendistry is a national Black-led small business lender that is headquartered right here in LA. Once you've started your business, Lendistry provides flexible financing options starting at $50,000 to help you access the affordable capital needed to grow. Whether financing is needed to increase working capital, acquire a business, purchase inventory and equipment, or refinance debt, Lendistry has a solution for you. Lending products range from traditional business term loans and non-revolving lines of credit to SBA 7A loans and commercial real estate financing. Lendistry's pre-application process is simple and does not impact your credit score. Visit lendistry.com/KBLA to learn more and to get started with an application right from the website.
Hey Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. South Central Youth Empowered Through Action is the youth component of the impactful CBO, known as the Community Coalition. South Central Youth Empowered Through Action has chapters at almost every South LA high school. Say Yeah, as they are popularly known, is located at 80th and Vermont, but serves young people all over South LA. Under the COCO umbrella, they train youth organizers, help underserved scholars prepare for college, and work with students to help them gain admission to top universities. South Central Youth Empowered Through Action fosters teen activism, where young people have led campaigns moving tens of millions of dollars to South LA schools and forcing officials to make AP classes available to students in under-resourced institutions. SCEL scholars have taken part in the March on Washington, been published in major news outlets, and been elected to city council. Long before she was mayor, Karen Bass started the program when she founded the Community Coalition. To donate, volunteer, or enroll a student in South Central Youth Empowered Through Action, please visit cocsouthla.org. cocsouthla.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
I appreciate you so much. Regina, to your last question about the shopping. So it wasn't just one mall. Cape Town is a huge city. Think New York. New York, because it's bigger than San Francisco. But it's a little more like LA in the sense that it's right on the coast with these beautiful, stunning. It's like they have their own Malibu, except it's closer into the actual city. And so there are malls. Just like there were malls in Johannesburg, we saw the Mall of Africa, which is a huge sort of upscale kind of, think Century City Mall with all the brand names, maybe even more. Century City meets Rodeo because they have a lot of what you would call, like designer stuff, the Louis Vuitton and all that. We didn't go there because we can go to that stuff here. But we did go to, there is a mall right there by the wharf. In Cape Town. I forget the name of it. We did go there. And so there was that kind of thing. And then every hotel, every airport, every attraction, whether it's Museo Atunya, not called Victoria Falls, or whether it's Table Mountain, even you could be up in the middle of what you think is nowhere, and there'll be a little gift shop there when we went to see the penguins. Like they're selling something, because South Africa and Zimbabwe, especially the falls, they exist on tourism. That's their main, just like LA, it's their main, business activity. So we did shop a lot of that stuff, a lot like this shirt that I have on right now, which was so cute. It has the Zimbabwe and the South African flag on the sleeves. And these shirts were being sold by a local guy, like the people, kind of like the folks on Crenshaw. So we went all the way from the guy selling bootleg, Dodger shirts on the median to the upscale mall and everything in between. There are markets that are kind of like a swap meet, where there's lots of different folks which have booths and stores and things. So we did that. I didn't get to do all of the shopping because I was broadcasting most of the time. Folks were shopping, but there's a huge variety of shopping, from fancy to super inexpensive. And I didn't get to shop as much as I usually do because I now have a 3-hour show instead of a 1.5-hour show, which is, of course, an honor and a privilege. But it cut into my shopping time, if you feel me. Anyway, you can get shopping for just about any taste. You can get crafts. Like when we, when we're at the wharf getting ready to go to Robben Island, there were all kinds of people selling stone craft. In fact, I saw this beautiful stone elephant, but it was really heavy and I didn't want to carry it back, so I did not get it. But there's stuff to buy everywhere. It's like Venice Beach meets Rodeo Drive meets, Slauson Super Mall meets the median on Crenshaw. They got it all. They got it all there for you. And we took advantage of all of it. Let's go to Morris calling us from Inglewood. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Dominique. I had an idea. Regarding Mark Ridley Thomas, who is a very, very prominent black public official here in Southern California. I don't think people within the sound of my voice recognize the contributions here historically that Mr. Thomas has given our community and Southern California to everybody. And it doesn't surprise me. I'm a political junkie. It doesn't surprise me this man is a target. I mean, we know what's going on today. But my question to you is, I think I would have this answer myself, but I don't. Is there anybody that can pardon Mr. Thomas?
That would be Governor Newsom. Yeah, I would think. I mean, that's because no, they're federal charges, so it would have to be the president. It would have to be the president. They're federal charges.
So we're talking Papa Joe then. Okay. Now I had a question for you, Dominique. Are you familiar with an organization called BRICS?
You mean
BRICS?
You're talking about the African organization, Africa, Russia. Forget who that one. The new NATO,
Brazil,
I mean the Eastern
Russia.
Bloc. Yeah. I'm familiar. We've talked about it on this show. Mm-hmm.
Okay, they're trying to trade in their own. They want people to trade. African countries, they want to trade in their own currency without using our own currency. And I was just wondering, is that the political narrative that you were hearing about while you were visiting there? And particularly, did you come across or hear about a guy named Julius Malema? And that's all I want to ask you about.
Okay, so BRICS, we didn't specifically address it among our travels, but what I will say is that there's definitely a movement, and you feel this with the people. I felt it in Ghana, in Senegal, and definitely in South Africa among the black people that I talked to, in Zimbabwe, of, Africa for Africans, not, and by the way, they include us in that, but meaning that, getting away from Western control of everything, right? And so if I think to the extent that the African Union is now working throughout the continent among various countries for Africa to solve Africa's own problems and the like, and we've seen with the war in Ukraine how some African countries are aligned with Russia because they've gotten aid from Russia, or aligned with China, so they're taking a more nuanced position or not weighing in on the wars. BRICS is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. But I think that, to me, the way I read BRICS is more of that independence from the West for Africa. And for sure, the sentiment is for that among, just regular people, for sure.
Have you checked out the countries that want to join BRICS?
I know they're talking about Argentina, Egypt, Indonesia, I mean, it's a lot of actually Arab countries, right? The Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, and some of the, like South Africa and others are saying maybe they don't want them to join because then they'll lose their leverage within BRICS. I see Algeria, Iran, Bangladesh, but none of them are, none of them are what we would consider traditional Western powers, right? In Zimbabwe, two things. In Zimbabwe, the regular people I talk to, just regular Joes on the streets, because we converse with people. The sentiment about Mugabe is, that he did the right thing, and that Zimbabwe is paying the price for that, right? It's perceived so differently than the way it's reported in the West. And it's clear that Zimbabwe is still being punished for that because it's not that easy to fly in and out of there. Well, yeah, you can go, but you're not going to, you're going to go indirectly. And to your point about the politics of South Africa and the ANC, I feel like the younger generation folks do have a different perspective. The folks, whatever, the born free generation, as they call themselves, like not born and raised under apartheid, and may, in my perception, be more militant or more progressive than those who came up under apartheid. So you still have all these white folks running around with apartheid, racist, segregationist attitudes. Not all of them, I don't want to say... but it was prevalent, okay? They might think we don't know, but we're coming from a totally different, perspective. We're not used to being treated, our racism a little more, covert, for the most part.
Subliminal.
Yeah. Theirs is more overt, but there's definitely a feeling like Nelson Mandela should have got back the land. He shouldn't have. And when you go to the Apartheid Museum, you look at it more holistically, because what would have happened if he wouldn't have done Truth and Reconciliation? Could have been a long drawn out civil war. Could have been, Israel and Palestinians, right? We don't know what would have happened. But that's the choice that Nelson Mandela made, that he led his party in making, which was Truth and Reconciliation, not seizing the land. And as a result, South Africans are still waiting for their 40 acres and a mule. Only here's the difference. Instead of getting stolen from somewhere and having nothing and asking for a part of a thing that we helped build, they had the land and it was taken from them by the colonizers, and now they want to get it back. So it's more restitution and reparation. And so even I think there's a new wave. We'll see how this goes, but my sense is that this younger generation, they're just like our younger generation. They're not going to just be settling for, no more racism, tolerance, and acceptance. They want their restitution, reparation, and to me, that's the right thing. Not that it has to be a disrespect of Mandela, but perhaps building on what he started. That's my perception. It's KBLA Talk 1580. You know us. We're unapologetically progressive.
KBLA Talk 1580 is an intervention. When we come forward, includes you. KBLA Talk 1580, turning pain into power.
I'm James Alexander, a proud member of AARP. 1967, I was 17. That spring, my friends, the Baaack and I made Soulfinger. It was a hit. Number 3 on the charts. That summer, we became the great Otis Redding's band. First gig, the famed Apollo. That fall, we toured. That winter found me in a morgue identifying the bodies of my bandmates and Otis Redding. My music and their memories bring me joy. The Baaack forever.
What would you call a joy that is as solemn as it is sweet and knows no bounds? A joy that's beautifully rooted in soul and resilience. This is Black joy, a joy that reflects pride and honor despite every challenge. AARP believes the power of Black joy is limitless, and we celebrate this joy supreme. Join us in celebrating Black joy at aarp.org/Black community.
Have you faced discrimination in Los Angeles?
The City of LA Civil Rights Department can help. They investigate private sector discrimination in LA City in commerce, education, employment, and housing. If you're facing discrimination, submit a complaint online for free at laisforeveryone.com. That's laisforeveryone.com or call 213-978-1845.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Tired of being locked out of job opportunities and shut down by systemic racism? KBLA stands with you in fighting for the rights of black workers, and we don't black down. The Los Angeles Black Workers Center is a dynamic alliance of workers, organized labor, community-based organizations, clergy, students, and scholars, working collectively to improve the position of the black working class. The LA Black Workers Center takes a comprehensive approach to addressing the black jobs crisis. Their programs promote access to quality jobs, racial equity in hiring and retention, discrimination-free job sites, and they prepare black workers for employment in high-wage, career-track jobs. The Black Workers Center supports workers who need help protecting their rights on the job. They give workers access to quality jobs and remove systemic barriers to employment. To sign up for free career readiness training, get involved in organizing around anti-discrimination, learn about union apprenticeship programs, or sign on to a trade registry, please visit www.lablackworkerscenter.org. That's lablackworkerscenter.org. Together, we can beat the black jobs crisis. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we do more than just talk.
You got a big mouth.
Hello, Joe, you're up. Welcome.
We're unapologetically progressive, and we don't black down.
Yeah, so judges. I started out talking about the judges, and I was talking about the case of Dr. Mark Ridley Thomas, and now we're looking for sentencing. There may be one more chance at appeal. My understanding, I'll get more info on that for you as we come forward this week. But I do think having us, the community, the public, as Morris rightly points out, those of us who know the scope of Ridley Thomas's footprint on LA, on Black LA, on, justice for women, for BIPOC people, for LA in general, for just a better Los Angeles, a better California, we need to weigh in. And really, to me, if you want to imprison Dr. Ridley Thomas, he should get the ankle bracelet in his house treatment at the most. I don't agree with the conviction at all, but certainly they need to give him the consideration, the credit for the service that he's given to the community for the past 40 plus years. Meanwhile, another judge, Judge Stephanie Baaack, a Republican, dismissed the lawsuit filed by all the Black Lives Matter chapters and BLM grassroots against the BLM GNF, the Global Network Foundation. And, it's funny because GNF is trying to spin it like the judge said, nothing they charge us with is true. We're innocent. That's not what happened. There's something called a slap motion that judge was supposed to be ruling on, which would stop BLM grassroots and the chapters from moving forward with their lawsuit. And that's what she granted. She granted that BLM grassroots trying to get their stuff back amounted to a free speech violation against the GNF peoples, the Shalomia Bowers and the highly paid consultants who have little or no experience as community-based organizers. She also went so far as to say that they are not entitled to any of the things that they built, including those donations that were given to the public based on the boots on the ground work or their social media platforms. I don't know how that is, but that's what the judge opined. And to me, it's just a reminder that we need to pay more attention to judges. It's in this case, I will say it ain't over till it's over. And the attorneys for Black Lives Matter grassroots, the Black Lives Matter that the 26 chapters that are doing the work, the impacted families, the people that are celebrating their 10th anniversary, by the way, on July 15th. they are immediately filing an appeal, and we shall see what happens. But again, you've got a situation where one judge, one Republican judge, can let their opinion, their bias, which is weird too, because supposedly the judge was leaning towards grassroots, then takes 2 months or something to come back with a decision and suddenly leans all the way the other way. Very suspect. Very, very suspect. Love to hear from you. 800-920-1580. We got all day, actually. Although I'm looking forward to the conversation with Zaid Mohammed in the final hour. He's an activist, and he is a member of the Malcolm X Commemoration Committee. Also, if you saw the Netflix documentary, Who Killed Malcolm X, he was behind that. So he's going to be our guest in the third hour of this show. We'll have a lot to talk about as well. Now's the perfect time to call me. It's KBLA Talk 1580.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580.
To my hometown, my community. Some of you have known me my whole life. Do you notice anything different about the kids in the neighborhood? Ever paid attention? You might start with gifts, money, attention. These are signs. Child trafficking is happening right here in this town. So don't just watch through the window. Pay attention. Because the more we know, the more we'll all know to say no. Learn the signs to look for and how to help at no-to-say-no.com.
Some people won't give you the real talk on drugs, but it's time we know the facts. Fentanyl is killing people. It's a powerful opioid, often made illegally and commonly mixed with illicit drugs. It can even be pressed into counterfeit pills that resemble prescription medications. Just 2 milligrams, about the size of a few grains of sand, can potentially be lethal. This isn't an ad to scare you, but it is an ad to make you think twice. Get the facts. Go to realdealonfentanyl.com. This message is brought to you by the Ad Council.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking. Now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go: shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms: irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
We knew you'd stick around. This is LA's home for progressive talk radio. Be heard. Welcome back to KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back indeed. I'm glad to have you, Dee from Long Beach. What's up? What's on your mind?
Good morning, Dominique.
Good morning.
Welcome back.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I want to talk about an article I read in the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, or LA Times, circa 2001 to 2009. The article stated that the majority or plurality of jobs in the United States would require gratuities or tips. So you have people like elevator operators, restroom attendants, gas station attendants. I recall that Gil Scott-Heron's last gig was as a doorman at the Fairmont Hotel. Did you know that?
I did not.
His last performance in Southern California was at Marla's Memory Lane during Valentine's weekend. So what are your thoughts on the fact that the economy is transforming into a tips-based economy?
Well, that's been a controversial issue of late. I think it's bull, actually. I like to tip people if I'm able, because I like to show appreciation. But the fact that corporations and companies are not willing to pay people what they're worth, so therefore we have to tip them in order for them to survive. That's bull to me. It's an abdication of responsibility on the part of the corporation.
I mean, in tips in lieu of a salary. That's what the article was inferring. That people
Yeah.
would not
Well, I
draw
mean, we're
salaries,
pretty
but
much
they would-
there. We're pretty much there right now. If you look at, the door dashes, right, the lifts, the Instacarts, because those jobs do not pay enough salary to even count as a salary. And it's like Lyft gives you gas money and car repair money, and then we have to pay the tip. And I think, again, I'm going to say the same thing. I think it's bull. People should get a living wage. If they're going to get tipped on top of that, great. They shouldn't have to rely on charitable goodwill from, happy feelings from people. Workers need to get paid. Work is work. You know what I mean? I've worked for tips. I've been a waiter. I've not a great one, but I was one for a while. And, I like tips, but again, you can't. I don't want to spin a roulette wheel about whether or not I can pay my bills. That's bull.
You said it right there when you said, what did you say? When you were talking about the tips being good, all well and good.
Yeah, it's supposed to be extra. It's supposed to be extra. It's supposed to be the icing on the cake. Right? Not only do I need the cake, I need the meal that came before the cake. And then if folks want to give icing,
to stay.
Right?
You need a place to lay your head at night and all of that.
How can you budget if you don't know what you're getting paid? It's bull. Stay with me, D. It's KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
Good morning, I'm Ray Harris, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. It's the post-4th of July scramble